building these left-right coalitions is part of what you're known for. In Washington, it's really hard to do right now. If you go in there and try to make peace with the Republicans, you're going to find, first of all, what I think President Obama found, which is that the Republicans are not so easy to deal with. They're not quite as reasonable as you might hope.
Right.
And second of all, that the liberals are going to mistrust you.
I'm not really worried about distrust from liberals because I don't feel that from my colleagues, the people that could be my colleagues should I win in the United States Senate. I don't feel that. There's so much kindness coming to me right now from the United States senators who are Democrats now that I'm the Democratic nominee. And then I think that on certain issues that are really egregious, especially if you can build coalitions, not just within the United States Senate, but stick with criminal justice reform. There's a huge Christian evangelical zeitgeist right now around the failure of criminal justice system, the waste of government dollars that could be reinvested in other areas. There are huge writers on the conservative think tanks who are talking about this issue. Heck, we've worked with them in Newark, like the Manhattan Institute. So I think that building the kind of coalition for change is not just building a coalition within the Senate itself, but it's building a national coalition around change and issues that for most people would be common sense and obvious. I think there may be a possibility for that, but I'm not naive. If anything I've learned in Newark is that change doesn't come easy. You got to earn every inch of ground you gain, and it's tough and it's hard, it's demanding, and you're going to stumble, you're going to get bloodied up, dirtied up. But that's sort of been my hallmark, and understanding the challenges, but facing those problems anyway. What greater gift can you have than to get up out of bed every morning and have an impossible challenge before you? I mean, it's the most, to me, it's the most, it's maybe from my sports days. I mean, I don't want to be put in the game when we're 10 points ahead. Put me in when we're 40 points down and it seems a challenge is there. Let's go to that battle.
Which is a wonderful attitude to have, but sounds a lot to me like Barack Obama in 2008 before he got to Washington. And he said, everyone has a reasonable side. We can work with them. We can find middle ground. And he, in some ways, never gave up. But I think most people would say he's been pretty frustrated, largely because the Republicans have moved to the right in a way that has made them unreasonable and closed to compromise on the basic issues, even if they're willing to talk about some of the things at the margin.
We've gotten to this point where we think democracy is a spectator sport and you can just sit on the sidelines and cheer for your side. And if we could just send one more hero, one more champion into the game, Barack Obama, one more person into that game, all the problems will be solved. That's never worked in America. It never has. And what works is when people realize that they've got to get off the sidelines and into the game, and then it creates movements for change. And so I'm not going down there thinking that I have some strategy that senators who are far more experienced, smarter than me even, haven't already tried. I want to go down there as one of those people that can hopefully pull people together, not just within the Washington context, but around the country to start putting pressure for change that we all know is common sense.
So if we were to come back in a dozen years and say Cory Booker has made his mark on 3 big issues that he's taken on, what would they be? And would they all be domestic policy or would some of it be international?
There's definitely things that animate me right now. This is why the first policy paper of the general election was about criminal justice reform. The first policy paper of our primary election was about child poverty, because there's so much common sense there. But I would love to be able to say at the end of 12, 18 years in the United States Senate that I was one of those people that helped to bring pragmatism, common sense back to the way we work, and to end, or be a little bit of an antidote to this zero-sum game politics that exists now, that if your side wins, my side loses.